happy belated International Women's Day. So last Sunday for International Women's Day, we did a constellation to honor the yin energy of planet Earth. For those of you who don't know what a constellation is, it is a group exercise where people are channeling different roles. So what we were exploring is the yin and yang balance of planet Earth, which is probably a reflection of our own yin and yang balance. And I'd like to share with you some of the things that we discovered. So we discovered what was happening so far is that the yin, which is the feminine principle, was feeling rejected, unwanted, and a need to escape. The masculine principle, the yang, was feeling rigid, stubborn, and planted. And Earth was feeling extremely heavy with a need to have a completion with the male energy. So that was the first thing that needed doing. The Earth actually had a discussion, and it was nice to see that the male energy was open towards that discussion. What was needed is to open up the heart. So we discovered that the male energy had closed up its heart, and as a result of that was feeling numb and had gone into darkness. Once there was an opening up, we integrated the emotional body back into the yang of the planet, and there was a lot of emotions that got conjured up. And as a result of that, the yang energy dropped into its hands and knees and pleaded for forgiveness from humanity, from the human consciousness. And this was forgiveness for being rigid, being stubborn, being stuck, and going into darkness. We then discovered that the reason for this was because the yang felt rejected by the yin energy, felt rejected by the feminine. And that was a misinterpretation with what the feminine was doing, because she wasn't trying to reject the yang, she was just being herself. So the masculine felt attacked, felt rejected, and then closed up as a result and went into a coping mechanism. So there was a lot of healing and integration. We actually thought this constellation was for the feminine principle. It turned out that for balance, we needed a lot of healing towards the masculine. So once the masculine shifted its position, we then were allowed to look at the feminine. And the feminine said that she was operating at 20% of who she was. And she was disintegrated from 80% of her consciousness, which had flown out as a result of feeling not wanted. And what she needed was for the yang energy to invite back, because the yang energy felt as if it had sent it away due to its rigidity. And so we invited the yin to integrate back. And we found that the part of her that was on Earth, that 20%, was a fragment, and the mainstay of the energy was outside. So we then did a complete integration of the yin energy and invited the core of that back on Earth. And once that happened, the Earth energy itself neutralized itself. So Earth became a neutral playing field, which is what it is. It's a playing field for the yin and yang to do its dance and to find balance and harmony on Earth. So Earth went back to its position. The yin energy, which is the feminine, could look at the yang and say to the yang that I'd like to teach you. I'd like to come into your space and maybe provide some wisdom, which is what the feminine principle is about. The yang was ready to take in that principle, and we ended up having a nice balance and harmony. And we even looked at what was missing, the presence of which made all the difference. And what was missing was wisdom, which means that we hadn't learned from what occurrences were. So the yang didn't learn that actually it was not attacked. The yin didn't learn that it didn't need to escape. So once we find learning and wisdom from our life experiences, we can then get harmony and balance back. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is if this resonates with you, just by me talking, you could perhaps feel this happening inside your system. Or you could visualize the same healings taking place within your own inner yin and yang, so we can create more balance for ourselves and for each other and for this planet and for International Women's Day.